Well, how bad is it if, like, let me ask you, if the government were to stop the food stamps, they'd stop the housing system, if they were just to cut that off, would the inner cities, would they quickly disintegrate, do you think?
Yeah. There's so much poverty in the cities. You got so many people, man, that are on these food stamps, that are on Section 8, and even if you even offer to put out another Section 8 application, man, okay? Like, we'll give 5 applications out for Section 8. Believe me, brother, 50,000 people will show up, and they will stampede for those 5 applications. You can go on YouTube. You can go on YouTube right now and watch Section 8 stampedes. They got videos of it, and bridge cards, people going for bridge cards and stuff. I mean, it's a lot of refugees here in the country, basically. We just don't look like refugees because they give you a little handout. But, man, it's the same thing, man. And these levels of poverty are stifling, man, in the black community. The unemployment, man, it's got to be 30-40%, man, in a city.
Yeah, but it's not just in the urban areas, it's in all areas. I mean, unfortunately, you can go to cities that don't really have a lot of black people living there, and they have urban areas,
Right.
Unfortunately, urban is not defined to just black areas. It's defined to people with lower education, unfortunately.
You think so?
Yes.
Well, I do agree, that, there are other cities and there's unemployment in the cities but in different communities, the unemployment rate is around 9%, 10%, as opposed to in the black community where the unemployment rate, I'm telling you, is in a lot of cities and different places, man, this unemployment rate is 30-40%.
Well, and that's partly because, as I said, like me, myself, I was a product of being forced into going to a predominantly white high school.
Mm-hmm.
You went to the flip side. You went to an all-black high school. I went to a predominantly white high school where I was one of the first 10 to go there.
Yeah.
So my education probably differed from your education based on the things that were offered in that school.
Right.
All right. Okay. Hold on a second. Hijacker, I got another caller, man. I appreciate you calling in.
Okay.
All right, thanks. All right, go ahead. Sorry, and you also have another caller, area code 832.
All right.
Hello? Caller?
Oh, well, we lost him. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. We got got a call flurry there and then dropped away.
Okay.
It's just that, schools and urban areas, to me, is not a black or white issue. It's a people issue, basically.
Well, as long as these urban areas have been systematically put together and they're basically largely minority, they're big reservations, so to speak. And then you got these incarceration rates, that are just ridiculous. Like, black women are incarcerated at rates 10 to 35 times greater than white women. You know what I'm saying? Georgia, you got a 29% black population, 64% in black prisons, black prison population. Illinois is 15% black population, 65% of the prisoners are black. We can go on and on, through all the states.
It's definitely starting to spread at this point, though. I see a pretty good. I live in a pretty small town, but even in Louisville, I'm starting to see it's a mix. The people with money are headed out, and the people with no money are coming in, and it's getting pretty heavily mixed at this point.
Right, and then these prisons will put up. They're corporations now, where people are making money, people are placing their bets, how many you can hold. And then once you get to the prison, they're cutting back on anything that you can get. Like, they're cutting back on food, they're cutting back on medicine to the prisoners and everything else in order to make the profit and to pay the dividends. The only thing you can get is hitting the head real hard in there.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we got a call. We got Tim on the line.
Oh, well, I was just going to get caught up with the conversation. I had a point to bring up, but keep talking and I'll get caught up.
Yeah. Well, hello, Debbie?
It's just, I don't know. I guess when you do go to the prisons, I don't hang out there. That's not my favorite place, but I have been there with people who have had people incarcerated. And to me, it's like a 50-50 right now. Because guess what? There are just as many, unfortunately, minorities doing crime as it is. Black, it might be a few more blacks because, unfortunately, we're a little more destitute these days. But it's a 50-50 mix there. You go to the court system, it's a 50-50 mix. It depends on the urban area which you're in. But again, it's just not a black or white issue. It's a non-willing to learn issue.
Mm-hmm.
Because the dropout rate at all schools are unfortunately high.
I don't think so. I don't think the suburban dropout rates are anywhere near what Detroit's dropout rate is.
And you got another caller, area code 832. You're on the air.
Yes, I would like to call in and disagree. I totally disagree because I went to a predominantly black school as well as a predominantly white school, and my experiences were totally different. In the black schools, which lacked money and tax dollars and funding, we had bigger classrooms with more students. We had less books, less access to new age technology. Also, in a predominantly white school, things happened to me that didn't happen to other white students. Me and my brother and sister, for instance, in third grade, I was held back for not being mature enough to go on to the fourth grade. And my brother was also put into a special education program within the school, and it wasn't needed. We were like some of the only black children to go to the school at the time. So,
really?
There's differences within the education system between blacks and whites. I mean, if you have a lack of income in the community, it's going to trickle on down. I mean, that's just apparent.
Yeah.
Right. So you said you went to a predominantly black school or a predominantly white school?
Both.
Okay. Because I went to a predominantly white school, and I can tell you that my first experience being one of the first 10 there, it wasn't a great experience. Because, let me say this, if we went to do something with an all-black school from Detroit, we got beat up. Then because we were 10 black kids, we still got beat up by the white kids. So we were like in a no-win-win situation. But the one good thing that we could say is that we actually got more than what we would have gotten had we went to the school that we were supposed to go to. Because we were part of like what was called the magnet plan in Detroit in the 9th grade, where you went from 8th grade to the 9th grade, right? Well, like 8.5 grade was what they were calling it. And then you attended a school, and they sent us to, like I said, a predominantly white school. And I think that my education level there was better because they had cosmetology, they had cooking, they had more gear, they had auto mechanics, they had things in the school that they didn't have at a school like Cooley, that they weren't offering at other schools in the urban cities of Detroit. So do you feel like you got a better education at the white school or the black school?
I just feel that they have facilities that are more equipped, and the curriculum that is more equipped for preparing you for college, and so you can succeed in college and come out and get in positions of leadership. In the black school I went to, I came out of high school, I was not prepared for college and ended up dropping out a year after attending. I was doing bad. I was put on academic probation, and due to my parents' hard work, I was able to become better in different subjects, and got back into school and studied a legal studies program. But that was because of my parents took the extra initiative. For those, and they are the majority that don't have that parental guidance and initiative to push them through and make them better than the school system, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mix ignorance and poverty, and you get murder, you get drugs, you get a lot of prisoners.
You get a lot of blood on the streets, a lot of pain, and a lot of misery. you know, and you get all these horror stories in the newspaper and on the news and 11 o'clock news, and then everybody looking at it like, oh, look what that nut did. These people are prone to violence and craziness, and we need to just nuke them all. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the simple answer. Or looking
but
at the,
I agree that in the urban areas, those neighborhoods are full of monsters.
yeah, exactly.
Ignorant
But the system,
zombies. That's
yeah,
what they're full of.
guess what, man? The system,
And I'm black, and I'm agreeing to that.
right.
I just understand how that came about.
Yeah, I understand how it came about. I understand that the system breeds them. It makes these monsters. You know, we got thousands of them running around the city of Detroit. You know what I'm saying? You can look at their eyes and you can see absolutely nothing in their eyes, man, except just cold, you know, cold killing, man. You know, you looking at them and they looking at you. I mean, man, you better not blink, man. You know what I'm saying?
Can I interject here?
Sure, right?
Hey, it's Tim calling here. We got area code 678 on the line. You're on there. Area code 678.
Oh, hello.
Hey.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I just wanted to touch on the subject of education. I think Debbie was saying something about, you know, the differences in schools that she grew up in. And I've worked done some volunteer work in the city of Detroit as well as in the city of Atlanta. And I saw the differences in the girls at the schools that I work at. And these are girls that are in the Upward Bound program, meaning they are the upper echelon of their class, and if they're doing well, they're on their way to going to college. Well, the thing is about that is in the schools and the cities that they're in, they're the top of their class.
Yeah.
But when they get to college, they are ill prepared, and
Right.
so they're immediately small fish in a big pond, and they're failing. And
Yeah.
so when they're failing like that and their scholarships aren't coming through, they have to go back home. Well, there's nothing at home.
Right. Nothing at home.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Here in Atlanta, they funded the Hope Scholarship, which would provide students with a 3.0 grade point average to go to college for free on this scholarship. You know, to come to a center for students who take school seriously, and they funded it through the lottery. A percentage of the lottery funded the scholarship. They recently just cut back on some of those funds, and now they made the criteria. You have to have a 3.7. We're talking about basically having all A's and one B in order to get this scholarship.
Yeah.
And it's coming from the lottery. You look at the lottery right now; it's $111 million, and that's just a percentage that we're going to pay out for somebody.
Right.
Right. But you know, the problem with that is lottery really ain't paying a lot of that out to the schools and anything. That's why a lot of schools are failing, and they're still actually asking for funding from voters when the voters go to the poll, because the lottery is really holding back on a lot of that funds. Because let's say if it's $110 million today, and then 3 weeks from now it's $72 million. Really, if you check the records, half of that is not even being paid out to the schools. That's why they're still putting millages in programs where they're cutting down the extracurricular activities of which that lottery, when it actually was started, was supposed to fund.
Right. I can tell you, like you were saying, man, about the children being ill prepared to go to college. When I myself got out of high school and started to attend college, you know, my curriculum in college, my core curriculum in the freshman year started with calculus in math. Okay, the math that I had got out of high school was only algebra. Okay, so I hadn't had geometry, I hadn't had trigonometry, you know, and I hadn't had any pre-calculus. So when you go into college, you know, they take your money, like, okay, he's poor, and they giving him some grants or whatever, so we'll take those grants and we'll bring him in. And then what they do is they put you in refresher courses and other courses